Now, speaking concerning this new man that was caused by the fallen angels, I want to read this part to you and go here. I want to start at Genesis chapter 6 and speak concerning him to give you insight where he came from. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. From this part here came the Gentiles on this side of the flood. This became the first white race upon the earth. This is where the flesh was divided in the earth from which it was. The first man was a black man. The first nation was a black nation. The white man came by a way of the angels transgressing against God. We cannot deny this, because the knowledge of the Father, the wisdom of being angels, they was created much better than men. When the offspring came, even though it didn't enhance them, didn't create them, because it didn't make them better than men, the offspring better than men, because it was nothing. This was not approved by God. So if it wasn't the works of God, then God excluded them from the book of life, because it was not agreed on by God in His Word. If you notice in the first part of Genesis, in the book, in the first chapter, as God was creating and made all things, He concluded each creation by saying, "This is good," letting us know that it was an agreement that all of this was good. And after God created all of these things and it was good, and He didn't have anyone to till the soil, and He created man, who was the black man, not by a way of something God was doing, by a necessity, and giving him the tools and giving him the chemical makeup in his body to withstand any part of the region of the earth. He was created a man with a high pigment count. He gave that man dominion over the whole entire earth. He made a covenant with Adam and Eve, spoken of in Revelation chapter 1 and Revelation chapter 2. Placed him having dominion. That's the only man that God gave dominion. Well, after these angels bare children unto the daughters of men, they was not in the book of life from the foundation of the world. So if they was not in the book of life, then they had no dominion over the earth. They was a part of the earth, yes, part of the human race, but they had no covenant with God. This is what we're going at now. When God destroyed the earth, because this people became a wicked people because of the way they began to create technology, and they came by the way of the daughters, by the blood seed of Cain, the daughter of Cain, because it tells you in Genesis chapter 4 and 5, before Seth was born, they began to build schools of technology. And they would not serve God, but only after Seth was born did men begin to call upon the name of God. So what that tells you, the habitat which was caused by Cain refused to serve God. They would not call upon the name of God. They had turned away from him before the flood, done everything according to their own heart, and they became created schools of technology and artifacts. There was creation. They became peoples to use this earth here for their own benefit. But these daughters that was born, sons and daughters, born to the daughters of men, began to overpopulate the earth, where God had created the earth for the habitat of the human race. They created an extra burden upon the earth because they was not counted in number in the creation of this earth, because every seed, every branch, every tree was counted and numbered also in its fruit from generation to generation, from start to finish. But when he brought this extra creation in here, which God did not create, then God had to change the dynamics of the man. And the only way God could change the dynamics of the man, he had to destroy this earth by flood and destroy, cut life off, and give it a brand new makeover. But because of the angels had did this and changed it, they had to be placed under the earth for the judgment of the final day. But God could not destroy the evidence against them. He had to save the evidence as a tree, as a branch in the earth, let it grow into its fullness, because this was the act that had to be judged against the angels of God who didn't know what they were doing, but he had to show them the side effects, what it caused the whole earth for their transgression. Instead of being keepers of the earth, as they transformed themselves into the format of human beings, they bare children to the daughters of men. Well, this is what happened. Once God destroyed them in the flood, God had to begin to make a way for them to come back to God, to be counted and numbered in the tree of life. They had no covenant with God, so they couldn't have dominion. So God had to create a situation to represent Adam and Eve who had dominion. So only by Japheth, the eldest son, taking one of these daughters of Cain, who was of the white race, it defiled his children and brought the origin of the human race flush back in compliance, where every man would be counted and numbered as the sons and daughters of Adam, but by them having a genetic trace in the bloodline of the angels, they was he erased that part where the angels buried them and made them all sons of Adam, but he had to create a special thing because of what the angels had did to bring them in compliance and make them a part of the book of life, give them place where they didn't have no place, because their fathers that created them, the genetic trace of them was part angel and part human. So Jesus had to come down and die in order to give them a place in eternal life on their own merits, and not because of what the fathers did. But there were some who refused Jesus and held on to the integrity of how they was created. These are the ones who are not in the book of life. These are the ones that running around telling these saying that they is against us, that's against America. These are the peoples that created these technologies and these big industrialized people. These are the Antichrist that mingle into the people that accepted Jesus Christ, who was of the Gentiles. These are the ones that were sin, making war with the saints. These are the ones that went after weapons of mass destruction, and their judgment is upon them, because the death of Jesus on the cross gave them an opportunity to be counted in number and placed in the book of life, but by their own choice, they refused. The death of Jesus on the cross left them no cloak to hide behind. It gave them an opportunity to not become as their fathers who caused them, but they refused. Instead, they want to take dominion by force. They want to take and destroy everything about God, because a revengeful heart, they was angry with God for destroying the males that was called by the fallen angels on that side of the blood.